Good morning, children. After so long time, we all are meeting each other again and hope you all are doing well. Here we are also doing good. Welcome back to our virtual school, and from today we are going to learn the concepts. Okay, fine. I think last class only we have started with the 9th standard topics. So today we are going to see the same continued version of the last class. Okay. Today we are going to learn about economics first chapter, the story of village Palampur. So already I hope you all remember this chapter which we already completed. But let me again recall you all those concepts and we'll learn again this entire chapter. Okay. So this village, the village Palampur, is an imaginary village. It's in India, just imagine. It is one of the imaginary village. And in this village, almost 75% of the people depending on farming for their livelihood, that is agriculture. In this village, almost 450 families lives. Out of that, as we know already earlier and all, in India we were following some caste system. So same way here what happens? Even here in this village also they were following the caste system. So out of that, 1/3 of the people or 1/3 of the population belongs to a scheduled caste, that we'll call it as a Dalits. So they will be living in a corner of a village and they didn't have the pakka ready houses. The houses were made up of mud. But the remaining, the 80 families belongs to upper caste families, and they had, they own maximum of the land of that particular village, and they had the pakka houses made up of bricks. So guys, you people got an idea, it is an imaginary village. Here we can see almost 450 families lives in this, and we can see two different categories of people. We can see one, it is the upper caste people and the lower caste people, and the rich and poor will be there. The next we'll see about the features of this village, how this village was, and whether it's a developed village or whether it's a still the underdeveloping village. See, we can see the features. The first one we can see it is the well-developed roads and transport. So this village, what happens, it has got the well-developed roads and even the transport system. And from this village, if they move 3 kilometers further, they can reach one big village called as a Raiganj. And later, furthermore, if they move, they can reach the town called Shahpur. And they were using the different modes of transportation. It may be like bullock carts and tangas, auto rickshaws and trucks and different modes of transportation, other types of transportations also they were using. And the next we can see it is irrigation. So here what happens in this village, as I told you, people in the earlier only, entire village, the maximum people depend on the agriculture for their livelihood. So here they were using the modern methods of irrigation technology, all those things they were using, and they were using the tube wells, all those things. In the next we can see it is electricity. So in this village, it's well connected with the electricity. So all the houses, they were having the electricity facilities also they have got. So they were using this electricity facilities for irrigation activities, to activate the tube wells and all those things. Along with that, non-agricultural activities also. It may be like manufacturing activities and other activities also they were using the electricity. In the next one we can see it has got the schools also. So in this village they have got 2 primary schools and 1 high school. So that shows that even the village has got the the educational facilities also. And the next one we can see that is health center. So they have got even the healthcare facilities also. So they have got 1 government hospital and along with that 1 private dispensary system also they have got. Guys, understood? By seeing all these things, we can understand that, the village Palampur is a well-developed village. Understand? Because they have got the good transport system and they have got the good irrigation facilities. Along with that, they have got electricity and even they have got the schools, health centers, all those things. Hope you all understood about this concept, right? Okay, let's move to the next concept, that is the 4 factors of production. So here what happens, once if we want to start up any productional activity, if we want to start any of the the production, so what are the requirements we will be needed? What are the requirements for the production? So we can see the many requirements for the production. So first of all, we need the land, and then we need the labor, we need capital, and even once we have produced, we have to make it for the sales. So that's the reason we need entrepreneur also. So here we can see the 4 factors of production in detail. So the first one we can see it is land. So how land is very much important for the production, for the productional activity. So here coming to the land, not only the land and other natural resources like the forest, minerals, all those things are very much important. Okay, so without land, no one can start up their the industries. Or even for the agriculture also, without land they can't produce the things. The same way, land is very much important factor for production. Okay, and the next one, just imagine we have got a land. For that land, for the productional activity, we need some human resource. We call it as a human capital or the human resource. So we need some skilled and even unskilled laborers. Understand? If we are if we are going for agricultural activities and or if we are having unskilled labor also, this is well and good. But we are going for the productional activities for the higher level and all, of course we will be in the need of skilled laborers. Understand? So here we understood land is one of the important factor, and the next one it is labor, that is human resources, also one of the important factor for production. And the next one it is physical capital. So we will be required, apart from land and labor, we will be in the need of even some other materials also. It may be like a raw materials, or it may be like a buildings, machineries, all those things. So here we can see in physical capital we have divided into 2 types. One it is fixed capital and the one more it is working capital. Fixed capital, the name itself is denoting. Fixed means it will be fixed. So we will not be changing these things or factors every year of the productional activity. Maybe you can take it as an examples of machineries, or you can take examples of buildings. So these things and all we will not be changing every productional activities. Yes or no? So that's the reason we'll call them as a fixed capital. And the next one we can see it is working capital. So coming to working capital, what happens? These things will be required for every productional activity. It may be like a raw materials. It may be like a cash in hand. So we will be in the requirement of these capitals in every productional activities. Whenever we are producing the products, we will be in the need of these things. Raw materials. For example, if we are producing the textile, cotton textile, so we'll be in the need of cotton for every productional activity. Those things we'll call it as a working capital. And the next one it is entrepreneur. So after productional activities, we will be in the need of the transporting, we'll be in the need of distribution. So all those activities comes under entrepreneur. Guys, hope you all understood this, the 4 factors of production. It's very much important. Keep in your mind land, labor, physical capital and entrepreneur. The physical capital we have divided into 2 types. One it is fixed capital and one more it is working capital. Okay, we'll see the next concept. Okay, So as I told you people in the beginning only, in this village Palampur, as I told you, the maximum people, we'll call it as almost 75% of the people depending on the agriculture or the farming for their livelihood. So, here we can see how the productional activities in the Palampur depends on these 4 factors of production. So, as we see, the land, labor and the capital. So, we'll see now how they have been divided. Okay. Farming in Palampur, the first point we can see it is land is fixed. So as we know, the land is a first and the foremost factor of production. Let us see the land. Land is fixed. So here what happens, almost 75% of the people in this village depending on the agriculture are farming for their livelihood. And in this situation what happens, the maximum the land which is available in that particular village was occupied by the people for the agricultural activities. And even if the wasteland, other lands also, they started to convert that wasteland into cultivable land. And they started to use even that, the wastelands also for the agricultural activities. And the next what happens, since 1960, there has been no expansion in land area under cultivation. So here what happens, we can't expand the land as per our wish or as per our needs. So what happens here? Whatever the land was available in that particular village, the people are not able to expand that particular land. Understand? So that's the reason here they're telling land is fixed. So in this village, almost 75% of the people depending on the agriculture for their livelihood, and there has been no expansion of the land in that particular village for the cultivation activities. Understood, guys? Any doubts? The first factor is land, and the next one it is the next continued version. It is there a way one can grow more from the same land? So what happens, as I told you people, land is fixed. So there is no option for the people to expand their land. So the next we can see, is there any way that one can grow more from the same land with the same available of land? For example, if they are using 2 hectares of land or 3 hectares of land, with that particular land, can they expand their production? Can they expand their yield and the more production? So here they are telling, in this village, people started to use the modern farming methods. So they started to use the modern farming methods. And here they started to use multiple cropping. With the same land, they started to grow, the different kinds of crops. And then they started to adopt to the Green Revolution. So here Green Revolution, what happens? To increase the yield or to increase the production, here they started to use more and more technology. It may be like a fertilizers, it may be like a high yield varieties of seeds, pesticides, and lot of machineries they started to use. Understand? So with the same particular land, the piece of land which was available, people started to grow more and more in the same land. So in the earlier stage, we can see in your ancestors, what happens, they didn't have any tractors and all those things. They were doing the, the cultivation through the cultivators. They were using the bulls and cows and all for the, the cultivation, all those things. But now, everything has been changed. The people started to use more and more, the technology, tractors, the high varieties of seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, all those things. Understand? So due to that, what happened? The production activities has been started to increase. With the particular same land, whatever the yield they were getting earlier, and next it started to increase more.